Hello, 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 my dear students. How are you? How have you been? Tell me, please. How did the previous activity go for you about Halloween escape? Wow, excellent. That's great. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that you have been doing well and that the previous activity went very well for you. Thank you so much for your participation in the last activity. Okay, guys. Today we will continue with the second part of the educational research, Halloween escape. I encourage you to participate actively, complete all the activities proposed, and if you have any question, please let me know so I can explain them to you again. No worries for that. Remember, if you have any question, let me know, please. Okay, welcome to this second part of this Halloween escape, and go ahead. Let us start. Okay, my dear students, this is an introduction about the topic. Every year on the night of October 31st, millions of people across the globe dress up as ghosts, witches, and vampires and superheroes. Children knock on doors asking for candy, pumpkins with care, face gloves for purchase, and homes are draped in fake coats and skeletons. But behind the costumes and the sugar rush lies a fascinating cultural story, one that stretches back over 2,000 years. What we now know as Halloween did not begin with candy companies or horror movies. Its true origins lie in an ancient Celtic festival called Samhain, a spiritual event marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, and time when the Celtics believed the boundary between the living and the dead became dangerous then. Over the centuries, Samhain involved blending with Christian traditions and later migrating across the Atlantic, where it was reshaped into the community center, commercial, and creative holiday we recognize today. However, even within English-speaking countries like the United Kingdom and the United States, Halloween traditions have developed in unique and sometimes surprising ways. In this content, we will explore the ancient Celtic roots of Halloween throughout the festival of Samhain, and then compare how modern Halloween is celebrated in the United Kingdom and the United States, highlighting both shared custom and distinct national differences. Okay, my dears, in this part, the first activity is for Word Up, Part 1. There are two mm, activities for Word Up. Okay, the first, to get started with this digital resource, please visit the following Padlet. Watch the video as many times as you feel necessary, and summarize in your own words what you understood from the video. Okay, my dear student, in this part is very important to pay attention to the video because you have to write a short text about you understood on the video. Okay, the instructions watch the video as many times as you need and then write a summary of the video in your own words. You have to play and watch the next video. Origins of Halloween. Pay attention, please.
When most people think of Halloween, they think of trick-or-treating, parades, bobbing for apples, and other family-friendly activities. But bet you didn't know the true story behind the ancient origins of Halloween. It all goes back some 2,000 years to the ancient Celtic festival known as Samhain, celebrated on November 1st. On the night before Samhain, people believed that the dead returned as ghosts. They would leave food and wine on their doorsteps to keep roaming spirits at bay, and wear masks when they left the house so they would be mistaken for fellow ghosts. The Christian church turned Samhain into All Saints' Day, or All Hallows, in the 8th century. The night before became All Hallows' Eve, later shortened to Halloween. You've heard of trick-or-treating on Halloween, but what about souling or guising? All three of these traditions originated in medieval Britain. On All Souls Day, November 2nd, the needy would beg for pastries known as soul cakes. In return, they would pray for people's dead relatives. This was called souling. In the medieval Halloween tradition of guising, young people would dress up in costume and accept food, wine, money, and other offerings in exchange for singing, reciting poetry, or telling jokes. In 19th century America, Irish and Scottish immigrants revived these old traditions. The result was trick-or-treating. At first, it was much more about the tricks, in the form of pranks and hijinks, than the treats. It wasn't until the 1950s that the custom took on its current family-friendly, kid-centered form. Today, Halloween is big business, with US consumers spending more than $2.5 billion on costumes annually. Add in the candy, and it's estimated that Americans spend up to $6 billion on Halloween each year, making it the second most commercial holiday after Christmas. So whether you're a fan of tricks, treats, or trivia, there's a bit of Halloween history.
We bet you didn't know!
Okay, my dear student, remember, you can watch this video as many times as you need, all the time. Okay, and after watch the video, you have to write in your own words what did you understood. Okay, for example, I understood blah blah blah. Okay, please send the text, and the second part of this activity is to record an audio clip summarizing what you wrote at audio recorder. You have to say the same you have to do right in the first part. Okay, you have to click on this part and select audio recorder. You can record your voice. For example, you tell about the history of Halloween. Yeah, yeah, da. Next, and save. Okay, it's easy. This activity is the first part to the educational resource. Remember, if you have any question, please let me know. After the first part of warm up, this you have to continue with this another activity. Okay. After completing the Padlet, you must complete the activity on Educate to access your understanding of the previous activity. Remember, it's very important to watch the video as many times as possible, because in the next part, you have to answer some questions about the video. Okay, this activity is in EducaPlay. And what is the idea in this part? You have to answer the question according to the last activity. When most people think of Halloween, they think of tricking, parades, bobbing for apples, and other family-friendly activities. You have to select the correct answer. Who repeat this Halloween tradition in 1970 America? French immigrations, German immigrants, Irish and Scottish immigrants. Yes, in certain festival that Halloween traces back to is known as Sid, you have to select again the correct answer. You have 10 lives to do this activity, okay? And you have to 45 seconds to answer each question. In exchange for changing and reciting, people will pray for whose dead relatives. You have to select and continue with the second part, with the next question. Sorry. What the people leave on doorstep to keep roaming spirit at bay? Food and wine, candles, or points. And what date was celebrated? October 31st, November 2nd, November 1st. It's very important to pay attention to the video because this information is according to to the video. Okay, Americans spend up to how many billion on Halloween each year, including candy. Mm, So let's go. When did Halloween begin to take its current family-friendly form? The Christian Church turned Saint All Saints Day or All Hallows of Wash Day. All Saints. In medieval Halloween, what were the pastries called the people begged for? Mince pies, pumpkin pies, soul cakes. Remember, you have to select the correct answer and continue with the activity. The night before All Saints Day became All Hallows Eve, later turned to Halloween. Mm, Spooky Eve, maybe, I don't know. What the people wore when they left the house so they would be mistaken for fellow gods. Costumes of animals, for example, is bad. Okay, game over. You can do this activity so as many times that you want, okay? Okay, my dear students, this is the first part of this educational resource. After that, you have to completing the educational activity, you can begin the main activity. Click on go. Okay, my dears, thank you so much for the participation in the second part of this activity. And I hope you are doing all activities. Remember, if you have any question, please let me know. Bye bye.